Whenever I play a Final Fantasy game, there are always two things I expect to see. The first is that the world that they present is always so interesting. It makes me want to dive deeper into the story and learn how it operates, how people interact with one another, how different it is from real life, and sometimes how it even reflects our own society. The second is how these games can make you feel like a fucking badass. You've got these cool looking characters who are absolute masters of combat, the fast paced battles, and the flashy special effects, as well as the sheer level of destruction these powerful beings can unleash. When all of those things are on full display, this franchise is just simply in a league of its own. Final Fantasy IX, however, only delivers on the first one, but on the second one, not so much. What I really like about this game is the presentation. They use these pre-rendered backgrounds to showcase the world along with a fixed camera perspective. They have these chibi looking characters running around in an old European town-like vibe in the Kingdom of Alexandria. And as charming as it looks, my first thought is, damn, this game is so fucking blurry. But I played Shadow of the Colossus recently and I had a great time with it, even though that game did no favors to my terrible eyesight. So I'm a lot more forgiving when it comes to how this 26-year-old game looks. I did however find this mod that adds improvements to the game like full 16:9 resolution, higher frame rates, and sharper looking backgrounds, so it started from looking like this to this. Much better. Eventually you'll have access to this overworld that's just simply empty looking. I spent way too much time trying to figure out exactly where to go since the points of interest are not easily distinguishable. Eventually you get to unlock other ways to travel, like a ship to sail across the sea, and an airship so you can fly through the air and reach higher areas. Oh, and also Chocobo, which will play out this iconic music. I would like to take a second to give my appreciation to this Chocobo, because when you ride it, it disables random enemy encounters in the overworld, which allows me to not experience what I think is the worst part of this game. What I really like about the combat though is the battle theme, the way it goes. Unfortunately, that's about where the positive ends. If you think turn-based combat can feel slow, imagine adding another bar that has to fill up before you're even allowed to input an action, only for that action to be placed into a queue instead of happening immediately. It's a lot of waiting for your turn, and it can get repetitive as time goes on. Trance, which is basically Super Saiyan mode that gives you special abilities if you get hit enough times, for whatever dumbass reason, they decided to make it so that it automatically activates the moment its bar is full. This game is so fucking dumb, man. Like, why won't it let me save that trance for a boss fight? Vivi just got eaten. Great. Oh, finally. Oh my gosh, I wasted the trance for one attack. Thankfully, the Moguri mod also fixes this by adding a separate button for manual activation. Also, as long as you have a good healer and enough potions and Phoenix Downs for revives, you can pretty much just spam heal your way to victory in this game. The animations look amazing the first few times, but once you're forced to use your strongest attacks multiple times in the same battle, they start to feel less impressive and more infuriating because they can drag on so damn long. This is like the 4th or 5th time I've seen this. Make it count, please. I'm so fucking done with this animation. Please just be dead. Oh my god. What really sets this game apart from all the other Final Fantasy games I've ever played is the characters. I was really surprised that this game was able to make me care so much about this group of weirdos, all of which had their own motives at first but eventually grew together as people, which allowed them to overcome any obstacle that came their way. Zidane, who used to be a shallow-minded monkey man who only ever cared about girls, turns into a trustworthy leader who is forever determined to help others without needing a reason to. Vivi, who was once a shy and timid character who always needed to be taken care of, turns into a dependable black mage who cares deeply about his friends, despite the existential dread he experiences throughout the game after discovering his origin. Garnet, who pressured herself to fulfill her role as a princess, and later on as a queen, often tried to take everything into her own hands. Eventually, she realizes that she doesn't have to do everything by herself when she has friends who can support her. And Steiner, who was basically a pawn of his kingdom who only followed orders, learns that he didn't even know who he was outside of being a knight. Eventually, he realizes that he must make choices for himself in order to truly feel like his own person. It's a compilation of story arcs involving life, individualism, self-identity, and purpose which the game was able to masterfully flesh out. And the music, oh, so good. I mean, it's made by Nobuo Uematsu. Of course it's gonna be good. All the music in this game is so memorable and fits really well with the vibe of this world. Whether it's the more silly moments like Steiner being all stressed out, or the intense music when things are about to go down, it's such a goated soundtrack that really deserves all of its praises. Final Fantasy IX is not a perfect game, but the things that it excels at, like the world building, character arcs, and soundtrack, ultimately overshadow the glaring flaws of this 30-hour experience. It still hasn't surpassed Final Fantasy VII as my favorite series in the franchise, but now I can tell why this game means so much to the people who played it during its original release. With all that being said, I would still highly recommend this game for anyone who wants to get into Final Fantasy, or even to longtime fans. It is hands down the most unique experience I've ever had with this franchise, and I would love to see more people get the chance to try it. Hopefully that heavily rumored remake does turn into a reality at some point. I give this game an 8.5 out of 10.